they said to me that only lesbians didn't have a sense of humour. No offence, you two. Oh, sorry, it's Dodd. Oh, I'm so sorry. All I saw was the long hair. I put 2 and 2 together and got scissors. So anyway, after the ceremony today, Harriet came up to me and she said, "Well, what about now?" And I said, "Definitely, you look absolutely beautiful." She didn't need to know I've been on the Jamesons all morning. So people have asked me, are you honoured, privileged to be John's best man? No, it's a chore. What is there in it for me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing in it for me. All I've done is spend all morning really nervous about it. Not honoured at all, it's a chore. Don't be wrong, if it was someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stephen Hawking and they come up to me and say, "Will you be my best man?" I'd be like, "Wow, they're amazing human beings. They've actually done something." What's he done? How does he know? I mean, there wasn't really much competition, was there? Come on. Unbelievably, in the past, John has actually been best man twice. Once for Tom and once for Dan. Lads, how do you feel that he sort of like betrayed your friendship in front of family and friends? You know? Yeah, you're laughing, mate, but Tom's really upset. Tom is only here because Carly heard there was a buffet. So also I said to him, matching suits were a mistake, because it makes a direct comparison between us too easy. Do you know what I mean? It's like Harriet's looking, she's seeing that, and she's thinking, this is what it could have looked like. Do you know what I mean? Do you know in the science labs it used to have the evolutionary picture? It goes Neanderthal, man, legend. Anyway, you probably want to hear some stories about John. I could tell loads of stories about John because he has lived his life as an idiot. And I don't mean like an adorable idiot savant like Rain Man or Forrest Gump. I mean like an actual idiot like Frank Spencer or Peter Andre. I'm just going to... Sorry, let's have a quick drink. I'm just going to rattle through a few quick stories. I could dwell on the time that I fed John a big lump of mud that he thought was an OXO cube. There was a time, I think it was one of the girls' birthday parties, it was in our back garden, there was a mini trampoline, and John was bouncing up and down, he was trying to show off to the girls, you know, and it had a handle on it, and he bounced so high, he didn't let go of the handle, and he just flew over the top, and he just smashed into a load of my mum's garden plants, which was good. There was a time when he was at primary school. He got invited to a classmate's birthday party, and Mum said, "Oh look, we've got an invite, you've been invited to a party," and he burst into tears and said, "Why won't people just leave me alone?" There was a time when he was in the army, he was on the ranges in the prone position, so he's laid down and he's got his face far too close to the sights, so when he's fired his rifle it's just smashed him straight in the face and given him a big black eye. It's literally the crowiest mistake you can make. There's the time that he pushed me off the slide in our back garden and I fell off and I smashed my face into a brick wall which chipped one of my teeth and permanently scarred my face. That's not a joke, that's not funny. You wouldn't laugh if someone graffitied the Sistine Chapel, would you? You know? So there was a time at Reading Festival where he was only like 16 years old and he pulled a really cracking looking lass there. She came back to our tent circle, we were all drinking, and John got stoned and passed out and she just walked off. There's many a time where John's woken up hungover and he's, instead of going to the bathroom like a normal human being, he's just opened his bedroom window and thrown up out onto the patio. One time missing Dad by about 3 inches. There was a time where he ate a spider and drank a pint of vomit for a bet. Seriously. Yeah.
Moment.
After listening to his little speech, there was almost another pint of vomit up at this table. There was a time when he was a little kid, there was a little worm coming out of the ground, so I said to him, "John, why don't you poo on it?" And he did. There was a time where we were both arrested for fighting at an ABBA tribute band. And this one's funny, but it's worrying. He came home from a night out and he was quite drunk. He got dressed all in black, with a black hoodie on, got an axe, went up the woods and stood in the woods scaring people as they walked past. Seriously, no, but all joking aside, that's a huge red flag. But whenever you see like serial killer documentaries and they talk to family and friends and they go, well, there were no outward signs. I think get the FBI, because he needs to give DNA now. It's going to happen at some point, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, I didn't have a drink. I didn't realise I was going to go on for so long. So, growing up, John had a happy childhood until Dolly learned to talk and became Satan's own child. John and I always had a very good relationship as brothers. We only came to blows on a couple of occasions, like the time where we came out of a dentist and I wanted to hide behind a tree from Mum, and he didn't want to do it, so I punched him in the mouth. And there was another time where he came into our bedroom and he found me going through his handbag. Yeah, he found me going through his handbag. I used to call it his secrets bag. I think we all know what the secret is, mate. And he kicked me in the face. There was another time when we were wrestling and I put him through a drywall in our house, which Dad found hilarious. Yeah, so we had a very good upbringing. Dad had some unusual parenting techniques because, like, whenever we'd had a fight, he'd always give us a telling off, but he would always say afterwards, "But nice punch though, mate," or "Nice kick though, mate," encouraging violence in children. So, but to be fair, he raised us to be very, very polite children. So we would always reciprocate that praise. So whenever Dad was battering Mum, you know, we would always be like, "Great kidney punch," or "Great flying knee," you know. But he's a smart bloke, because he'd always go from the neck down, no little bruises, no social services. So to any like new husbands here, speak to him afterwards because he knows what he's doing. There was one time I'd been on a night out and I brought a young lady back to my mum and dad's house. I can't remember her name. There's been loads of them, obviously. Mum came down the stairs. She was probably woken up by the lass having an amazing time. And Mum's politely told the lass to leave. She said, you know, this place isn't a hotel. The joke was on her, because I went on TripAdvisor the next day. Rude staff. She said, tell your brother, this place isn't a hotel. He's not to bring anyone back either. I thought the chance of him bringing anything back was so slim, I didn't bother telling him. So the next night, he brings a bird home. Mum comes down the stairs at the speed of 1,000 gazelles, chases the tart out the front door. I don't think he even got around to paying her.
Layla?
To be fair, it's water under the bridge now. They're married. Right, so everybody who knows John knows that he's got an absolutely lovely temperament. He is one of the few genuinely nice blokes out there. Sometimes I come across as one, I'm not. John's loveliness manifests itself in many incredibly annoying ways. Not least when we go down the pub. If he sees some weird, little loner, little bewildered person, he'll go over and speak to that person and say, why don't you come and sit with my mates? And we end up getting lumbered with him for the rest of the evening. I've dubbed these people his John-tourage. Talking about that, where's Donald? You alright, mate? John's lovely character took a massive hit the first time he ever watched The Sopranos, okay? He decided that everyone was disrespecting him and that he needed to defend his honour, right? The best example of this was we were at one of Diane's parties. Woo! And he's come up to me and he said, DJ's disrespecting me. How's a DJ disrespect you? So he said, go and speak to him and see what you think. So I thought, there's a good chance I can do this. So I've come back and I said, John, he's definitely disrespecting you, mate. He's definitely disrespecting you. So what John's done is he's waited for Mum and Dad to go home from the party. And he's walked up to the DJ and just punched him. Now John's like 5'5". Well, there you go. There you go. John's like 5'5". He weighs 8 stone and he was absolutely hammered. This was a pretty big bloke. and he was completely sober, right? So that went really well for him. The best part was, though, at the time, me and John were living at home with Mum and Dad, and we shared a bedroom. So I've woken up in the morning, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, I've sat up in bed, and I've just looked at him. And he's slowly come around, he's opened his beady little eyes, we've made eye contact, he's seen my smile, and it's all come flooding back to him. And he's just gone, oh no! Well, John, you're married now, so you're going to wake up with that feeling every night from now until one of you dies. Mazel tov. Thank you.